Okay, guys. Uh, in this video, this is gonna be that more serious one. I'm going to be talking about my autism. I'm gonna have some background gameplay going in the background. Y'all can watch that while you guys listen to me talk. So, yeah, let's get started. So I'm gonna talk about my autism and my journey with it. This is a little bit different for me because I don't usually do stuff like this. I'm usually very reserved and I don't talk a lot about myself, like my personal issues and stuff. But recently, I came to the realization that there were a lot of people out there. One second. That there were a lot of people out there who have my condition or have a similar one, and they may need to hear how someone else dealt with it or what their journey was like. So, I'm going to do that. I'm going to explain my journey with autism and how it affected my life. Now, there's some stuff that I just can't get into for certain reasons, and but that's okay. I'm gonna explain most of the stuff, and some of it, obviously can't get into online. But let's get started with, I guess, the counselors and psychiatrists at the beginning and how I got diagnosed. Um, I was around, I'd like to say 5 or 6. Okay, I was real young, and I was always hyper all the time, but like to the point of it being extreme. Okay, like when people say their kids are hyper, they mean like just little things or whatever. But I was hyper to the extreme. Okay, I could never sit still. I always had to move my hands. Like you had to like literally hold my hands in order to keep them from moving or whatever. Um, and I still have that problem today, but it's gotten better. Uh, so anyway, yeah, it was, you know, hyper to the extremes. So I went to some counselors and some psychiatrists, and one of them said, "Well, yeah, you have ADHD." And then I went to a different one a couple years later, and they said, "Yeah, you have ADHD." And then I went to a different one, and they said, "You have Asperger's syndrome." And so I went to, I think, 4 or 5 total or whatever, and they all gave me different things. And they never came to a conclusion about what it actually was. So eventually, one of them just said, "Well, since we can't come to a conclusion, we're just going to say you're on the spectrum and we're going to call it autism." And I said, "Okay." So I guess let me explain kind of what that means. I still don't really fully understand it, but I'll kind of explain. Um, Autism means my brain works differently than a lot of people. I think differently and struggle with doing certain things. Like, I can't do large groups of people that well. Um, I get sensory overload if I do things like concerts and that giant Nerf war I went to. I used to struggle with that way more than I do now. Now I can pretty much do crowds. Like I'm going to a concert in September. I'm going to that North Shore again in August. Like I can pretty much do crowds now without any trouble. But it took a lot of work to get to that point. Um, so yeah, that's kind of what my autism is thinking differently than people and struggling with certain things. Um, and there's another side to autism, and we'll get to that in just a second, because that's the side I struggle with the most, and that's the side we'll focus on a lot in this video. Um, so there's two sides to autism. That hyper whatever is the first one. Okay, that's the one I had for a long time since I was real young. And I went to a psychiatrist, and they gave me some medicine that's supposed to help with it. Well, it did help with it, but there was a problem. Like I said earlier, there are two sides to autism. There is the hyper, and then there is really bad anger issues. Okay, and when I say anger issues, a lot of people think that it means like boo-hoo, I cried when I got upset or whatever. Or I may have, I don't know, did something. I don't know what you would think of when you say anger issues. But when I say anger issues, I mean there's one time I put a hole through a door with my fist. And I broke a kid's nose one time because he hurt my friend. So there was a lot of times when I struggled with anger. Well, this was caused by that medicine they put me on, okay? They put me on this medicine, and it did help with the hyperness. I was not as hyper as I used to be, but it flipped a switch in my brain. So now, instead of the hyper, I had really bad anger issues. And I was only on this medicine for, I'd like to say, 2 or 3 weeks, maybe a month. But the damage was already done. Okay, as soon as they took me off this medicine, they were hoping it would go away and everything, but it didn't. I had really bad anger issues till I was 17 years old. I'm 19 now, so I just recently got over the anger issues, and uh, it's still there. I'll explain what that means later in this video, but it's manageable now. So, when I was young, I had these anger issues, and it caused a lot of problems for me. Um, my anger issues were so bad that there were a few people in my life who all said that if I was not able to figure it out, I probably would be arrested before I was 18 or dead. Okay, they did not expect me to make it to where I am now. But I had a great mom. She helped me out a lot. Uh, Anytime I had trouble at school, I got in trouble for fighting or I got in trouble for, disrespecting a teacher. I mean, there was one teacher, one time I called a teacher a bastard. Like, I was not a good kid. Um, but anytime I got in trouble at school or whatever, my mom was up there in minutes. Like, within half an hour, she was at the school talking with the teachers and the principals. We always joke about how everyone in the school knew my name. It's kind of the truth. So, my brother went to the same school I did a few years after I went there. Okay, so I went to a school, and then a few years later, my brother went to the school. And when my brother got there, everyone knew him because of me. They all realized the same last name and everything, and they asked if he was my sibling, and he was. So they were expecting not good things. But luckily, my brother is actually extremely intelligent, and he's taking higher level courses than I took as a senior in high school, and he's going into junior year, and he's like 13, so he's like really really smart. But so luckily he didn't have as hard a time at the school I went to because he was smart and he listened to his teachers and everything. But yeah, we used to make a joke that everyone in school knew my name, and that's because everyone in school did know my name. Uh, they all knew me and they knew I was the bad kid, and I actually made a few teachers quit, as in the year after I went there, they weren't there the next year because they had too much to deal with and they couldn't deal with it. Some of them just switched schools, but there was one teacher who actually quit teaching entirely and moved to a different state. So yeah, I was not a good kid. But like I was saying, yeah, my mom was always up there to help, and she diffused a lot of situations. She was like my bomb diffusal unit. Okay. Um, and I always had pretty good like administrators. Like a lot of the times I might get in trouble with the teachers or whatever, and I'll go to the principal, and the principal was usually pretty good at all the schools I went to. I've gone to, hold on, let me count. So let me mute myself so I can count because I have to count out loud. Okay, I just counted. Uh, 7 schools in total. Okay, I've gone to 7 schools in the years I've been in school. There is one school that I literally went to for 30 minutes before walking back out of the building and didn't go back to that school. Okay. Um, and I finished high school online. And that was not because of COVID. I was doing online school since the year before COVID. So I did 3 years of high school online. Um, it was a good school. I can tell you what that school is because it's just an online academy. It's called iSchool Virtual Academy of Texas. Um, it's a really good school. I had really good teachers. Um, and it helped. Online school helped a lot. I didn't have to deal with people in person, so I was able to do things online and get my assignments turned in. And I only had to go to a few like Zoom type meetings every now and then to talk to my teachers. But yeah, so ever since I was little, those anger issues got in the way, and it was like that until I was like 15. Okay, and when I was 15, I started going to this program. Okay, and this program is for autistic teenagers, and it teaches autistic teenagers how to be an adult. Okay, it's this adult like transference program or whatever, where it prepares teenagers who have autism how to do adult things like get a job, do interviews, uh, fill out job applications and stuff. If you do it long enough, they teach you other things. Like I think they teach you taxes and stuff like that as well. I didn't stay there long enough to do all that. I just stayed there long enough for the job things and for some of the things where it's like they teach you how to talk in front of other people and everything. Because, like I said, I used to have a lot of trouble doing that. They teach you how to deal with large crowds and things like that. It's kind of like group therapy, I guess, because it's not one on one with a counselor. You're in like a kind of a class of a bunch of other autistic teenagers. So think a ton of autistic teenagers in a room with a teacher who's teaching a bunch of autistic teens how to be an adult. So started this class when I was 15, and the teacher knew I had anger issues, and she helped me come up with some ways of dealing with it. It's gonna be personal to each individual. I'll tell you what mine is. My way of dealing with anger is reading a book or listening to some music. Both of those calm me down real quick. My favorite genre of music to listen to when I'm upset is nightcore. Nightcore is amazing. I love nightcore. Um, Books also help me calm down. If you guys watched my room tour video, you know I have a huge bookshelf full of books. I love to read. I have a Kindle as well that I can read on. So those are my ways of diffusing when I get angry. Video games also helps. TV helps. But like I said, it's individual to each person. Some people I know eat when they're stressed or drink soda or whatever when they're stressed. Um, for me, that's not for me. I like I said, I prefer reading and stuff. But it's going to be personal to each individual. So if you do have autism and you are struggling with anger or whatever, find that solution. Find that thing that helps you calm down. So try different things. When you're upset, try reading a book if you like reading, try listening to music, or try watching something to calm yourself down. Now, obviously, you can't always do that, like if you're in school. I had to do this form thing. I don't know what it's called. I would have to ask my mom and see if she could tell me. I can put it down in the description. But I had to fill out this form thing that allowed me to have special permissions at school. And one of those permissions was when I was upset, my teacher would let me put my earbuds in and I could listen to music in class to help me calm down. During tests, I was allowed to listen to music to keep me calm because I struggled during like testing and stuff. I also had to do private testing, so like during star tests and everything, when you are in a huge classroom, I got pulled out of the classroom to um, test with just one teacher individually. And they also do that for dyslexic students, by the way. They pull dyslexic students out so they can read the questions to the students and the students can answer. For me, it was because of my autism, and it was because I couldn't test in large groups. And because of my hyper thing. I was real hyper and stuff, and sometimes I made noise because I tapped my pencil against the desk or I clicked my pen. and it bothered the other students, so they pulled me out for individual testing. I don't know what that form is called. Like I said, I'll ask my mom after this video. I'll put it in the description. Y'all can read that. They do that for a lot of autistic students. Um, let's see what else. We so I did that testing and everything, and I finished that class. Well, I left that class when I was like 16. I still had the anger issues till I was like 17, and then I graduated high school at 18. So like 17-ish years, so around 17, I started to get a handle on it. Then I graduated high school at 18 and started this job, the one that I'm still at currently. I've been at the same job since I graduated high school in 2022. Uh, Started this job. They have amazing coworkers. Okay, I have a really cool boss. He plays Fortnite and he watches some of the shows I watch and stuff. So we get to talk and whatever. Every now and then he comes in. He's like, "What level are you at in Fortnite?" And I tell him, and he's like, "Man, that's real high or whatever." And so, we have good coworkers, good boss and everything. I cook food all day. I work at a grill at the golf course. I'm not gonna tell you what course, but I do work at a grill at the golf course. It's really fun. I get to sit there, cook food, and eat the food. I get a free meal every 5 hours. We get burgers and chicken tenders. It's amazing. We do private events as well. Like you guys can rent out the place, and we cater for the like events. So it's real fun. Like we've had weddings up there, graduations, birthday parties. Like it's real cool. And when I started this job, I still struggled with some of that stuff, but I have never once gone to work angry. Okay, I can tell you guys that truthfully, I've never once gone to work upset, except for one time, and within 5 minutes of getting there, I was fine again. Uh, Cooking is another thing that helps me with my anger. I forgot to say that, but cooking is another thing. I love cooking. Um, but yeah, so at work, so I had this good job, good coworkers and everything. And then I have this amazing friend group, two of them actually. I go to a church, and the people I would go to church with are awesome. The other friend group is the one I was talking a little bit about in the first video I made, that channel trailer or whatever. It's this online community. Uh, I was I joined it a couple years, I guess a year and a half ago now, 2 years ago. It's been a little bit. I joined the community, and eventually, when the owner had to move away because he does some things for like the military and stuff, so he had to move away and wasn't able to properly manage the community, so he gave it to me, and I now run this community. So I'm the person in charge of it, and I've got this cool friend who's second in command, and he'll be on later this week for Fortnite. He's that guy I was telling you guys about, Fortnite Pro. Um, we are a cool community and everything, but even though we don't know each other in real life, like none of us in the community know each other in real life. Like we have people all around the world. One of them's from the UK, I think. We've got some from like I don't know. I think there's one. There's a lot in America. A lot of them are in the same time zone as me, or like an hour ahead or an hour before. Some of them are from the UK. At one point, we had one from like Norway or something, but they're not part of the group anymore. But yeah, we have tons and tons of people in this community from all over. And even though we don't know each other in real life, we're still all really good friends, and we get to hang out like pretty much daily. Like later tonight, we have a Minecraft realm that we're all a part of. Later tonight, we're gonna go explore an ancient city together. Like it's fun. We get to hang out and chill, and we're a good community. We're a mature community because we cuss and everything, and we're mostly either older teenagers or adults. There's a few that are like a little bit on the younger side of the teenagers, but they're like more mature teenagers, like my brother. My brother's in the community as well, so yeah, he like more mature younger ones. But the community is great. No like inappropriate content, just cussing. So like that's why it's a mature community, because we cuss and everything. But yeah, it's a great community. Um, and because of this community and because of this job, I was able to manage my anger a lot because I had good friends and good family to help me and a good job to go to all the time. I'm supposed to work again like Sunday or something, and I'm on call for today technically. Like my boss said he might call me in today. But yeah, no, it's pretty good. So the point I'm at now, I'll tell you guys where I'm at now. I still struggle with my anger on a daily basis. Okay, it's still a constant struggle not to let it boil up because of certain people and certain reasons I'm not going to get into. This anger is like hardwired into me, and I'm not able to ever get rid of it. I don't think. That won't be how it is for everyone. Some people, you guys will probably be able to get over it completely. For me, though, it's kind of hardwired. So I struggle with it daily, but I'm at the point where I can manage it now without it boiling over, like ever. It's extremely rare for it to boil over now, and when it does, I'm usually able to diffuse it within like a minute of me getting upset. I have tons of ways to solve it now. I've got a punching bag outside, like I said, music, books, cooking. So I'm usually able to diffuse it within like a minute or two of it boiling over. So that's the point I'm at now. I still struggle with it all the time, but I'm able to manage it now. That hyper thing I still have. Since I'm not in that medicine anymore to get rid of the hyperness, it came back after a while. But it's not. It doesn't affect my daily life. It just means like right now while I'm recording this video, I'm looking at a black screen because I'm gonna put the background video in after in editing. So I'm looking at a black screen. So right now I'm sitting here waving my hands around and moving them around and like tapping the desk or whatever. And that's just how the hyperness is. I had to constantly keep my hands moving. But yeah, so that's where I'm at now, and that's been my struggle with autism so far. Uh, you guys are welcome to ask me questions in the comment section. Um, and you guys can comment on other people's comments and stuff. The only thing I'm gonna ask is be kind and respectful to everyone. I'm going to share a little bit about something I believe in, not Christianity. I am Christian, but that's not something I'm going to share. It's more of like a personal like code I follow. So this code I follow is I don't force my religion on others. I don't force my beliefs on others. Um, like for example, I'm a straight male Christian, but I don't force that on other people. So, for example, if you are gay, or if you're bi, or if you're Jewish, or if you're a different race I am, I mean, I don't care. Like, you guys are all welcome here in this community I'm trying to build in this YouTube channel. You guys are all welcome, and I want you guys to feel welcome. So if I see any comments that are negative or rude to others or to me, they will be banned from commenting on the channel in the future, and those comments will be deleted. So, like I said, be kind and respectful to everyone, um, and leave your questions. This has been the Winter Wolf signing out.